What's up, guys, and welcome to my laboratory, where I concoct the weirdest and most interesting decks that shouldn't work, can't work, but I'll make them work anyway. Today I have my Plunder Patrol deck, or my TCG exclusive deck list. Yeah, you'll see. Let's hop in. So, first, I have to start off with my Plunder Patrol main deck monsters. We do not have many, so we max out on them. That's triple Whitebeard, triple Redbeard. So you guys probably know what they do, but in case you don't know, these Plunder Patrol monsters can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck that corresponds to an attribute that your opponent controls on their field or is in their graveyard. So, really busted. Now, these are only quick effects, and they can only be used on your opponent's turn. So you can't heavily aggress on your own turn with that effect. Also, these guys have effects when they're sent from field to grave or sent from hand to grave. So they're really useful to discard for things. Whitebeard will special summon another Plunder Patrol from your deck, so usually Redbeard, and Redbeard will target a Plunder Patrol on the field and equip himself to it as an equip card. It's really limiting the fact that these are the only two main deck ones. It's pretty much the entire problem with the deck, and as I get into it more, you'll see what I've had to do to make up for that. Oh, also worth mentioning, both level 4, and this is a tuner, so you can actually hard go into their rank 4 monster without using their effects, and their level 8 synchro that also leaves room to actually make level 8 synchros outside this and rank 4s. It's just that if you use his effect to summon out Redbeard, you cannot special summon anything other than Plunder Patrols for the rest of the turn, which isn't great, but look, we gotta work with it. So, the first thing to help this deck out, dangers. Because we really need to see our two main deck monsters and their few support cards. They have one spell and one trap. So in total, what is that, 12 cards? Yeah, not great. But that wasn't enough dangers. So I ran all of these guys too. We really need to see those cards. And dangers aren't bad by any means. Really, when you run this many dangers in total, this is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dangers. You run this many dangers, and your deck is really moving, and these are not bad monsters. Tsuchinoko's a guaranteed summon, Jackalop's a guaranteed summon, Nessie's guaranteed, will at least get you a danger. And then you have weird ones like Mothman, who that's a draw and a discard for you and your opponent. Then Bigfoot and Thunderbird, they can take cards off your field, and then you can special summon out the grave with Chupacabra. Is he great? No, but we really need the draws. And then Kaiju. So Kaiju they solve multiple problems in this deck. One, this deck has a huge issue dealing with monsters. Like, the Plunder Patrol themselves have a win condition that's pretty hard to reach, and they have an extra deck monster that can get rid of monsters, but once again, hard to summon. But these guys aren't. They summon very easily. You can get rid of a card, and I specifically chose these two because they correspond to 2 of the Plunder Patrol's attributes, and this is important because right now we have a Dark, Water, and Fire Plunder Patrol extra deck monsters, but you can only really be sure you're gonna see Dark. So you can summon these guys to your opponent's side of the field and then use Plunder Patrol effects to then summon whatever Plunder Patrols you want. So these aren't just outs, they're also, like, in a way, combo pieces. I don't know how you want to word that, but very useful for the deck. And the last monsters, Summoner Monk. I run it at 3. We run plenty of spells for the discard, but also it is a level 4, so it works with the idea of hard summoning into the extra deck monsters, the rank 4, the synchro. And once again, there's not many of these Plunder Patrol guys, so He's an extra copy. Now we move on to spells. So the best spell, really the only spell, the one we need the most out of anything, is Plunder Patrol Shipyard. So really powerful spell. It's a field spell. It has an attack boost. I believe all of your Plunder Patrol monsters gain 500 attack for each Plunder Patrol spell or trap card that's on your field. That includes in your spell and trap zone. So that includes your Plunder Patrol monsters when they're equipped to the Plunder Patrol extra deck monsters. It's a weird mechanic, but they do that. And the trap. So you really want to have as many of those guys on the field at a time so you can get their attacks up. Because if you didn't notice, these guys aren't that big, and honestly, the extra deck monsters aren't that impressive. So you really want that attack boost. This is also a search spell. You pitch a card and you search a Plunder Patrol monster to your hand. Great, we really need it because we need whatever it takes to get this deck moving. And last but not least, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol card on your side of the field, bounce it to the hand, and then this card can just be activated straight to the field. It's kind of everything. Yeah, it's everything. We need it so badly. Too bad we can only run one terraforming. Oh, Konami. But it's okay. We have dangers, and dangers will lead the way. Next up is Danger Response Team. We run so many dangers, why not? If you don't know what Danger Response Team does, it returns a danger that you control back to your hand and another monster on the field. So that could be your monster, your opponent's monster. A fun thing to do is to sometimes send Plunder Patrol monsters back to your hand so you can use them for discard effects, and then they'll get their effects. It's all one big, beautiful situation. Other one-of cards for our TCG exclusives, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. If I'm running Kaijus, why not? It's a dark hole with summons, and I can pick and choose which one I want. Sometimes it's easier to summon the water Plunder Patrol. Sometimes it's easier to summon the fire. Well, I can always get whichever one I need with this way. Too bad it's only at one. Once again, that's why we have dangers. That's why they're here. Triple Mind Control. Because when I was making this deck, I kind of decided going second would be best. They don't really set up any like strong boards. They're fairly easy to break through, but with Triple Mind Control, I can snatch monsters, use their monsters to make like my extra deck monsters. I'll show you more about that later, and it's just generally good for like monster removal. So solid. Then Triple Instant Fusion. I do run like pretty standard instant fusion targets. Raijin and Restrict. They're just really solid monsters. Not to mention, like I mentioned, one of the Plunder Patrol extra deck monsters requires a Plunder Patrol and any other monster. So why not? Then Raigeki. It's a card. I'm playing second. Maybe Lightning Storm in the future. Nah. And last but not least, Triple Plunder Patrol Booty. It's so weird. Out of all the Plunder Patrol cards, you really can't do without them. And this one, that's especially true. You can have every other Plunder Patrol card, but you're really not using the strategy unless you see Plunder Patrol Booty, because it enables you to actually recycle your Plunder Patrol monsters. It can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from the grave or send it back to the deck. In doing so, it changes one of your opponent's monster's attributes to any attribute you want, so you can see any extra deck monster that you want. It's really a perfect card. The problem is, we have so few ways to actually see this card. You essentially just have to hard draw it. And if you don't see it, it just hurts. But on to the extra deck. So the main stars of the show is the Link monster, the Link 2 Blackbeard. Blackbeard can be link summoned with any Plunder Patrol and another monster. So if it's a monster you mind controlled or a monster I instant fusion, or I can use 2 Plunder Patrols. Also, it's water, which means if I have one of these guys on the field, it could be either one of them, and my opponent has a water monster on field or in grave, I can just summon him for free. And he has an expanded effect, like compared to the little guys. See, the little guys, they have, when they use their effects, they equip to the extra deck monster that they make. He doesn't actually equip to anyone. He can use any monster that I control, like even a summoner monk, and he makes an extra deck Plunder Patrol, like one of these guys, and then he equips that monster to them as if they're a Plunder Patrol, and you get a draw for it. So that's why he's the captain. He's the bigger, stronger, better version of the little guys. And you get a draw. You really need to move in this deck. That draw is very appreciated. It's just, man, we still have too few of these. Because moving on, now this is purely on my own limitation. It's not like a strategic reason. 2 bronze and 2 Morix. I mean, well, 3 bronze, 2 Morix. Fire, Dark. Dark is fairly common in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, so if you have him or any one of your other little Plunder Patrol guys, you can be fairly sure you can summon Mowork, and that's good, because Mowork is the one that enables you to banish monsters on the field. Fire, unless they're playing Salamangreats or Ash, you might be in a little bit of trouble, so you might struggle to make it. Either way, this one banishes monsters, this one banishes spells and traps. The problem is you have to discard a Plunder Patrol monster for either their effects. And we only have so many. Like, we don't have many of these guys. So it's actually hard to get in a situation where you can summon these guys and have Plunder Patrols in your hand. That's why cards like Dangerous Response Team are useful, just to get them back in your hand so you can use them for discard and you get their effects, because otherwise these are just stats. This is a 2500 monster in defense, and this is a 2500 monster in attack mode. You better hope you have the field spell on board where they can get a boost. Oh, and speaking of stats, he's only 1600, and they're not getting a lot done. Right now, their win condition is pretty much overwhelming your opponent by getting lucky and seeing all of your cards. There's really no guarantees. And then the guys bringing up the rear. Borload Savage, you can make 8s. You do have ready access to a Link monster. There's no reason not to run it unless you use Whitebeard that turn. IP Masquerena, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, Boral Sword, and my 2 instant fusion targets. They're all pretty self-explanatory. You can go into these cards. They are useful. It's just it doesn't necessarily help move the strategy along. But that's all I've got for Plunder Patrol right now. I really want to see more cards in the future, because if we see more cards, I can run less dangers and less of these other things and actually get them to do their own strategy. Because right now, it's a pretty tough deck to play. But when you do win, it is a lot of fun. Well, that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Pass turn.